Hi guys, this is Dr. Suguna. In this video, I am going to explain how to use Python for reading and writing text files. So for reading and writing, the general functions we use is, we'll use open function to open a file and set the file mode. Then we'll use the read method to read the contents of a file. Then if you want to process, you can use any string manipulation functions to process it. And once it is over, we will close the file. So we'll be using open, read, process. Process is using existing string manipulation functions and close method. So if you want to read and write binary files in Python, we use the struct module and the pickle module. The struct module is used to pack and unpack binary data, and whereas the pickle module is used to serialize and deserialize your Python objects. Now, there are different types of file modes available that indicates what is the purpose of what you are going to do in the file. If you are going to read only the content, then we have to use the read mode, which is represented by R. If you want to write into the file, then we use write mode, that is represented by W. And if you want to add some more data with the existing file content, then we go for append mode. And binary mode, if you are going to read or write the binary data, then we will be using the mode as B. So now let us discuss how do you open a file. So for opening a file, we'll be using the function open. Now how do you write that open? Open, you need to give the file name and the access mode. Tell which file you are going to open and in what mode, whether you are going to read, write or append. So the file should exist in the same directory as the Python program file, or you have to represent the path. So this R is denoting the raw text. Okay. So this will open a file and it will create an pointer and which will be stored in the file object. Thereafter, you can use this file object to access the contents. Say for example, you are opening a file, open test.py, and you have mentioned the mode as R, and you are storing it in the file. Then thereafter, you can read the contents of the file by using for each in file. Each is a variable. In file, print each. So it will display the contents of the file. Okay, so it will read each and every character in the file and it will print that characters. So that is what this example is about. And we can use the close function to close the file and it will free the memory space acquired by the file. Okay. So here the same example, after completion of printing, you can use file dot close. So always you have to use this object, along with that you associate the method. Now, how do you write to your file? For writing into the file, there are two options. One is you can write a particular string into the file, or you can write a set of lines, and these set of lines may be a list of string elements. Okay. So you can write in both the ways. If you are going to write a single string, then you go for the write method. If you are going to write a multiple strings, which is represented in the list, then you can go for the write lines. So you can use file object dot write that string one. This is a variable which will contain the string. Or if you want to mention all the strings in a list and you want to write all these strings into the file, then you go for the write lines of L. Okay. For L is equal to this one. So this is how we will write the contents into the file. And reading from the file, again we have three options. One is read, read line, read lines. Read means it will read so many number of bytes. Okay, read the bytes in the form of a string. Suppose you want to read n characters, then you can mention what is n. Okay, so that only that particular characters will be read from that file. Read line means it will read at most n bytes. That is, it will read one line at a time. Okay. And if you want to read all the lines and return them as each line as a string element in the list, then you can go for the read lines. So it depends on how much you want to read, how how much content you want to read from the file. If I want to read only n characters, use read. If I want to read a particular line, then you have to use read line. Okay. And if I want to read all the lines, then you go for option read lines. Now this is an example how to read and write the text file. So first you represent what is the file you are going to create. So we are going to create a file named as example.txt. I am storing it in a variable with a file path. Now what I need to do, this is a new file I am going to use. So I am going to write something. So use the open method and write down the file name. Instead of writing the file name, I have stored in the variable and that variable is mentioned here. And my mode will be W. That is, it will open the file for write mode. And I have to use this loop like with open file path comma W as file. Okay, so there we have given a file pointer. No, file pointer is equal to this open. Instead of that, we are using open as file. So this is the object, file object. Now use this file object and enter some content into this example.txt. So I'll write file.write this sentence and file.write another sentence, file.write the third sentence. Then I'm just printing the file written successfully. Then again, after creating this file, this is for creating a file. Now I want to read the content of the file. So I will use the same format like with open file path, but now my mode will be R as file and I will be reading. Okay, so I didn't mention anything, which means that it will read entire content. Okay, so file.read and store it in a variable, and then you can print all the contents. Okay, by just writing print file contents. That's it. So this is how you can create. Create means write into the file and then you can read into the file. Read from the file. Now similarly, you can also read and write the binary file. So binary file means normally this binary file will have the extension as .bin. So here the same thing, but you have to open the file stating that it is a binary file by writing WB, write B, okay, as file. And you can use the write method to copy the contents. Whenever I write something in the binary file, I can use that hexadecimal codes, okay, hexa codes, which will be represented like this. And then again for reading, I will be using this read mode and I will be using this file read to display the contents. So when I display the contents, if I want to display the hex code, I will be using dot hex. And if I want to decode means what is the equivalent character representation of all these hex code, then we'll be writing like file contents dot decode. So this is how you can create and read from the file. Thank you for watching and subscribe to the channel to have more videos. Thank you.